You start to hear the turbo spool up, engine starts to lug down.
Okay, I forgot my camera, so I had to go up way up on top of that big hill. We left the bean head up here. So I'm gonna hook this bad boy up to my truck and haul it down to Preston. Hi, Bella. Hi. Hook her up and then we will head down to Preston. Stay. So yeah, I brought this that way. You can see the field from there, way up there. Brought it down here. I pulled it down with the tractor because I didn't want to come down that big hill with it. But I left the camera up in the truck, so. Okay, there goes my buddy Mark Junk. He just beeped at me, didn't offer any help. But anyway, my battery went dead. Imagine that. So anyway, I brought it down the hill with the tractor. I parked it here, took the tractor up to the shed, brought my truck down. So now we're gonna hook this up and take off down to Preston with it. So, okay, we got it all hooked up. This is a quick hitch here, so that's good. So now all I gotta do is I gotta back it up. So this thing here goes over top of this, will latch it. Shouldn't be too hard. We'll back it up and take her down to Preston. There it is.
Network and beyond to the world's largest professional network. Over 7 focus on Canada.
She is hooked up. I love this camera. You there? Helps backing things up. Okay, we're off. Okay, it's gonna be a long trip down because I can only do about 25 miles an hour with this bad boy. So we'll get this down there. They'll get it put away tonight or tomorrow. Clean it up, put it away for next year. We'll see down at the Preston farm. What do you think, Bella? You say anything? No, you're not saying nothing. I made it back to the Preston farm. 1 bean head, 2 bean heads. So we are here. We'll unhook. And call her a day. Looks like Brian's out moving round bales. You see the trucks are way over there. Combines are running. So gonna get that done today the way it looks.
Just a real quick break, guys. My dad had this footage of him pulling the bean head home. I want to include this in on the last day of harvest. So that is the officially last content of harvest. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's get into the actual video now. Well, guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Welcome to Hartung Family Farms. And guess what I'm doing today? Give you guys a second to guess. But harvest is just about done. We have 3 acres left. Literally 3 acres. I'll explain that a little bit more. But we're basically wrapped up with harvest. So even though it's we're done with harvest, we are definitely not done with fall work. We got quite a bit of fall work to do, and a lot of that is prepping for next year's crop. We were just about done with the 2021 crop, but literally the hour that the 21 crop got done, we are starting the 2022 crop. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to be spending my day in the Stagger 400 today. Climbing a ladder with one hand is rather difficult. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to key on, check fluids, def's good, fuel's good. Oh man, we're fine. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Just kidding, I need to check oil first. Much easier opening than a Deere, that's for sure. Must have forgot to tighten my belt, or put my belt on. Yep, that's oil. Just on the, right at the add line, so we'll probably have to check that tomorrow for sure. Now let's start it up, but first I gotta just fix my belt. She's cold. Any of you guys know where to find one of these pieces? For some reason ours fell off like last year or 2 years ago, and I want to find one because it kind of looks dumb with just this. See what I mean? Kind of looks dumb. Anyway, so I am down here at our one of the guys' semi trucks that we've been using. He rents this 200 acres grounds of beans that we custom harvested in this video. We're gonna rip this ground. This ground has never been ripped. It needs to be ripped. This thing has been pulling hard. His brother that rents, the guy that rents the ground, his brother was actually down here ripping. He ripped a lot of this piece, but he's probably done 60 acres or so far out of the 200. I'm hopefully gonna get another 70 to 80 done today if I get a good day. But I'm gonna start over and hopefully do that 100 acres north of the waterway. Like I said in the video there, it was literally, I'm gonna be ripping what we harvested. So I'm gonna let this tractor warm up for a good 10 minutes or so, get everything situated, check over the ripper. I'll explain this a little bit more on what it does and the purpose of it and how it works. We'll go from there. So here is what this tool does. Before I go into the tool, here's what basically the aftermath of the remnants looks like. So what it does is it basically just goes along and has those 6 big shanks that go 12 to 18 inches deep, and all they do is just go straight down, and they sort of lift up the ground. They break up that hard pan and compaction. When I say this ground's never been ripped, is that it's never had that hard pan or that compaction layer over years and years of driving heavy, large equipment over it. It just slowly compacts the ground up. And when you compact the ground, crops can't grow as well. Water can't filtrate through it near as well, so it holds water worse than what you want. Roots can't go down near as deep. It's just not a good thing. So that's what we're doing. We're running this inline ripper to essentially break up that hard pan. So that's kind of what it'll look like. Now we'll walk back to the ripper and I'll kind of show you what it looks like. So we have it. This is called an unreferred zone builder. What it is it is a 6 shank ripper, and they tell you need about at least 50 horsepower per shank, depending on the ground conditions. And all it does is, like I said, it's 18 inches deep. You got the 12 to 18 inches deep that these things can go. You got disc openers in the front, and you just got a big shank with little wing blades that all they do is when it goes down, these wing blades help lift up that ground and break up that compaction layer. So you can kind of see this blade's getting pretty worn. We're gonna have to replace it at some point this year. This was a new one we put on last year. You can kind of see this how thick it was. They all started out like this, where they're as wide as here, and they were thick, but then they wear down over time because soil can be very abrasive and it wears it down. So that's what it does. We'll just drop it in the ground. It's on the 3 points, so I can control the I can fine-tunely control the height. So yeah, it's a really simple equipment, but it takes a lot of horsepower to run, so let's get her going. And you're also probably wondering, what is this right here? These are spring resets. In case you encounter a rock or something down deep, it'll basically, you have a spring right here where if it hits something hard, it'll trip back and the spring will reset itself. So that way you don't, break the implement. I think we're ready to go. Let's get going. So like I said, I'm going to leave this field here. Jeff was saying that it can be rocky in spots, so I'm actually just going to leave this field and go over to that north one, which should be pretty easy to do. So I've never worked anything or really done much on this ground besides run grain carts. I don't know it near as well as he does. We're going to leave it to that. Good way to start the day, GoPro. You've frozen me 3 times already, so I couldn't get much filming done. But I just crossed the into the neighbor's kind of ditch just so I can cross here and not go through that big washout. But here's what I'm going to do. 100 acres of soybean stubble. It's going to go to corn next year, so let's get to it. Well, she's going. Didn't record any of that first pass because I'm still figuring out what I'm doing here. Still trying to set it. Basically, I have it going deep. The wheel riding on the ground. I have my hitch set at 16%. I set that on that knob, and all I gotta do now is just run this little lever. This puts it up, this puts it down. And I'm in 4th gear, full throttle, and it's all she wants at times. We'll get some GoPro footage at some point, but it's gonna be a pretty uneventful day, knock on wood. Well, now I said it, it's not gonna be, but hopefully it's gonna be an uneventful day, and I'll just be doing this, going back and forth and doing about 9 acres at a time. It's not much. So it's going good. Done about 5 passes so far. I can't get my thing to map accurately. I just have it set to always on right now. Talking to our local dealership, it should work. When you drop your implement down, it'll start painting it green, but when you pull it up, it'll quit. But talking to our local dealership, we probably have an old version of software on the tractor, so it won't work. But either way, it's going good. About 6 to 10% slip on average, using about 80 to 100% engine power. So, and I have it on auto mode, and I'll explain auto mode a little bit later, but it's kind of nice. It throttles it back for me and saves me fuel. Man, these end rolls are really pulling hard. 108% power on the 400 horsepower tractor. Whew, going about 5 miles an hour. So on the areas that aren't using all the power, so I'm only using 70% power right now, I'm using this auto feature, which you activate right there. I set my 5 mile an hour, I set my top and bottom max and min gear range, and then it's going to automatically, once I get in the field, once I get into the into the path, it's going to automatically control my gear and my power, my throttle, to help save me fuel. If I was in 4th gear, full throttle, going 5 miles an hour, I'd be burning 20 gallons per hour. So using this is saving us about, we'll just say 3 to 4 gallons an hour, and that times 350 a gallon, that's $14 an hour savings right there. That's pretty big. So thanks Case Age for that. And you can definitely tell when we get to a compacted spot, you start to hear the turbo spool up, engine starts to lug down. I've got 105% power right now. This must be a lower spot in the field because I'm out in the middle of the field right now. I was going to put her in neutral and hop out and go take a look and see what type of job we're doing, but I'll wait until we get to a lighter part of the field. Alrighty, let's go see what type of job we're doing. Man, I stopped in a hurry doing that. Don't know if I should have done that or raised up and done it. Oh well. I want to see how deep we are going when we're actually in the ground. Let's go take a look. So here's how deep we're going. We got about 8 inches on the blade, all the way across. The disc openers, a couple inches away from the bearing or the paint wear. So I'm guessing I could go a little deeper, but for the most part, I'd say I'm going deep enough. I mean, it's lugging, that's for sure. You can kind of see, like I said, we're on a 3-point. The 3-point is level. You got to make sure on a 3-point you got to be level, because you actually got this top link right here, this top arm that can screw in and out. And if you're not level, you could be kind of pulling upwards, and it's just going to wear stuff a lot more uneven. But I think it's doing good for the most part. So let's mount some GoPros, get some nice montage footage, hop back in and keep knocking out acres. Been out here for about an hour so far, and I'm doing right at 9 acres an hour. Well, let's see if I can pull her. Oh yeah, I guess nothing. Do not want to turn while it's in the ground to auto steer. Definitely don't want to do that. That's how you break shanks. Just gotta steer manually for now. Roll them. So what's kind of cool is this thing is literally a compaction buster. So I can kind of see we got a grain cart path, or we got something here where we had a heavy machine, it'll be a fully loaded combine or whatever, drive through this. So you can kind of see, and the line is clear going over to that that exit across the waterway. Right there, you can see those 2 lines of the wheel tracks. So and you can see it pulls hard right through there too. So that's what we're doing. We're just going through and we're breaking up compaction, which is critical for these heavy, lower sitting fields that really have never been ripped. Rolling along pretty good. 2 hours in, and this little 20-acre flat short piece is just about whipped. And we're getting to the long stuff. This one I'm really gonna put the acres in, but man, it's gonna take a while. Tillaging, I love doing it. Man, it's monotonous at times, but there is stuff to pay attention to. But auto steer is a life changer. I mean, without it, we'd be overlapping so much, especially a small implement like this. I mean, it's basically unusable now. Running tillage with like a small implement like this is basically unusable. It makes it much less efficient. Wee, this is compacted. This is rough. Come on, Gussie. Really pulling hard. 104% at 3rd gear. That is why we're here. Break that compaction up. Now this is the type of farming that I enjoy. Long, straight rows. Oh, there's been a ground hog or something right there. Again, this isn't our farm. It's one of the guys who helps us out. He's renting the ground. We're essentially doing the custom work for him. And I'm really kind of excited to see what type of yield boost we're going to get by deep ripping this, because again, compaction has never been lifted out of this field. We've never deep ripped it, so I'm really kind of curious. Here's going to be the longest pass I do. pass on this one. So because where I'm at, I actually never even told you guys where I'm at. I'm at our farthest south farm. Highway 30 is like literally right there. Oh, about probably 15 miles straight south of the farm. I didn't tell my grandma that I was gonna be here. I literally just drove straight here. Tractor's already here, so I didn't get a lunch. But luckily I thought ahead. Got me a Pippinja. That's what I call it, PB&J. Well, hope there's nothing in that gopher hole, because it just got demolished. Bye-bye. So I've been running for a couple good hours now. It's 2:30. Been running for 3.5 hours. And this is what I've gotten done. A good amount. Probably 35 acres if I was guessing, all the way to that waterway. So I mean, the end's in sight. I might be able to get this done tonight, but I might not. I might just have to quit. I'm gonna try and quit around 7 more than likely. Just because I don't want to be home too late. My wife's expecting me to bring home pizza, so I'm gonna do that. Happy wife, happy life, am I right? But I am gonna get out at the end, do a quick walk around, make sure our points are still looking good, and stretch my legs mainly. All the points are still there. They're wearing pretty good. We gotta change this one soon. But all the points are still there. Check and make sure all the discs still spin. So we should be good. Let's go look and see what type of strips we're making. So we're not going to plant right into this. This is just a little bit more soil disturbance than what we like. Especially because our bean stubble will go into corn next year, so we got to run anhydrous through this. So we'll make another strip, you know, like this, another shank pass. So what we'll do, because we got 2 crisscrossing shank passes, we don't feel right planting right into this, as opposed to when we just had anhydrous, which is just 1 shank, we'll plant right into that. But with 2 different crossing shanks, we will actually take a light field cultivator and just buzz through this ground real quick before we plant next year. You can kind of see it's about a good 2-3 inch berm it's making. It'll settle a little bit over the winter, but again, when we put in an anhydrous pass going this way, you're just gonna have ridges all over the place, and that just doesn't make for a good planter ride. So that's what we'll do. Now that's pretty sweet. Golden hour. It's gonna be great tonight, hopefully, as long as no clouds show up. We're gonna get some good drone footage. Alrighty guys, you should know the drill by now, but this video just getting a little bit too long, so I wanted to go ahead and split this one up into 2, because the next video will actually have some awesome drone footage of myself and the tractor, but also Nathan's coming, so stay tuned for that. That video will be released on Saturday, Christmas Day, so happy early Merry Christmas, everyone. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll go ahead and cut it right here. Have a good one. Take care. Take it easy. Follow us on our social media channels at Instagram and Facebook down below. And of course, guys, as always, ta-ta for now.